Big snowflakes and temps near the freezing mark lead to some big driving hassles for people in the Red River Valley.
Authorities look into threats posted on a social media outlet from a Fargo High School student to a West Fargo High School student using text messaging. And the search for a missing 27-year-old Fargo man is halted after police find a body in the area where he was last seen.
This is Valley News Live at 6 on KVLY. Now in high definition.
What started as sleet and ice quickly turned into fluffy flakes today, and that mixture was too much for some Valley drivers who found themselves in the ditch. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been tough going on the roads throughout the afternoon, and that situation could get worse tonight.
A winter storm warning is now in effect for much of the valley, and Valley News Live has you covered from start to finish. We start our news at 6 with team coverage in the field and our weather center. Let's go live now to South Fargo with Valley News Team's Brendan Clark. Brendan, one thing on everyone's mind are these road conditions. How is it out there?
Well, rough, I guess, is the best word to describe it. As you can see, things very slow going on the interstate behind me. It's very slow. It's very slick, and conditions might only get worse as the night goes along. The snow continues to roll in. Obviously, one of the things that we've been hearing is that there are a lot of cars in the ditches, and I actually had the chance to see that for myself. I went out with Sergeant Jesse Graybo of the Minnesota State Patrol earlier today, and within about an hour we saw 5 cars in the ditch. We even saw one car try to turn around across the interstate to try to pull out another car. So obviously you got to use your head out there when you're on the roads, and one of the biggest things is slow down. And not only that, but keep an eye on the other drivers around you.
You might be one of the better drivers out here, but you are sharing the roadway with people that are making poor choices, whether it's driving too fast, distracted driving, whatever it's going to be.
Not too long ago, there have been about 90 crashes today and about 75 cars that went off the road, and they expect that number to continue to increase as the road conditions continue to deteriorate. And so that's one of the biggest things is make sure you check the road conditions before you go out and travel. Try to avoid travel if at all possible. One of the biggest things is that there is a travel alert right now for southeast North Dakota due to the icy conditions, due to the snow. If you want an update on the road conditions to see where you're traveling, go ahead and head to our website. We have road conditions for both North Dakota and Minnesota. Now let's toss it over to Hope Hanselman, who is with the City Streets Department tonight. Hope?
Hey, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, we've seen some pretty messy roads out here. We're actually hanging out tonight with a sand truck driver. This is Derek. And Derek, you've been working the streets tonight. Tell me, what's it been like out there?
Extremely slippery. Watching cars inside around. Just trying to get the sand down to liquid, make the road safer for everybody. So.
And we've been talking to some of the managers around here earlier. They said they're going to have crews out there all night. How late are you working tonight?
I'll be here till 7 o'clock. So 12 hours.
Okay, well, we'll turn it around and give you guys a look at what we're looking at out here. If you can see, these roads are pretty much covered right now. We're going to go drive around and try to clean them up. We'll give you guys an update later on tonight.
All right, thanks, Hope. Stay safe out there. That was reporter Hope Hanselman live via Skype in Fargo.
So that we know now that the roads aren't so friendly, but can we expect them to get any better tonight? Our team coverage continues with meteorologist Lisa Green. Lisa?
Thanks, Mike. I don't know if you could see on our sky cam there, but the on-ramp to I-94 in South Fargo is snow covered. So a lot of places where the roads are getting covered in snow, southeastern North Dakota especially, not safe to be heading out on those roadways this evening. Winter storm warning in effect tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. It does include the Fargo-Moorhead area, southeastern North Dakota, and extends up toward Bemidji and beyond. And on the fringes of that, where we're going to get a little bit less snow, we have winter weather advisories in effect for the nighttime hours. The snow still falling and will continue to fall throughout the evening hours, basically over the same areas here, and that does include the places within that warning. We could be seeing anywhere from 6 to maybe even more inches of snow, Mike, coming up tonight, and we'll pinpoint where that will be and to tell you what you can expect as we head through the next 24 hours.
The expectations of a winter.
Yes.
Always unpredictable.
Exactly.
All right, thanks. And as the storm pushes through, Valley News Live has you covered on the air and on the go. Make sure you download our Valley News Live weather app on our smartphone. You'll get the latest travel alerts, interactive radar, and up-to-the-minute forecasts, and it's all free. You can also visit valleynewslive.com to see the latest delays and closings. And as always, tune to Valley News Live at 10 at 10 to see what you can expect for your morning drive. And of course, watch the Valley today from 5 to 7 a.m. for the current conditions every 10 minutes.
In other news tonight, a dead man was found late this afternoon near Horace, North Dakota, as a search team looked for any sign of Coulter Dahlman, a Fargo man who went missing nearly a month ago. It's not been confirmed that it was Dahlman who was found. Details are very limited at this point, but the body was found less than 100 yards from where the command center for the search was set up today. Valley News Team's Eric Crest has more from the scene of the investigation.
As you can see behind me, authorities are still wrapping up their investigation right out there in that field. What they're telling us is that a dead male was found in that field, and it wasn't too far off from where investigators set up shop today.
Part of it had to do with that's where the vehicle was found. His vehicle was found near this location, so we knew that it was a good starting point as far as a search and the likelihood he may be in this area if it is in fact him.
One of the dogs picked up on the scent after combing this area for nearly 4 hours. About 24 people helped with today's search just off of I-29 and the Horace Wild Rice exit. Now, most of their manpower was focused on parts of the Wild Rice River, where snowmobiles, four-wheelers, and law enforcement on foot looked to find any sign of Dahlman.
They had actually covered most of the areas they intended to, and then this was kind of the last sweep when they came across the body.
Authorities are still waiting on a positive ID of the body in the field, and they say an autopsy in Bismarck is likely to follow. Near Horace, North Dakota, Eric Crest, Valley News Live.
The North Dakota Highway Department, Cass and Clay County Sheriff's Offices, the Fargo PD, and Valley Water and Rescue all put in the time to help locate the unidentified man today. We're going to keep you updated as more information comes in.
Police are investigating threats made over the weekend involving 2 area schools. Authorities say they were informed this morning that a threat was made via text messages and social media to and from students at Davies High School in Fargo and West Fargo High School. Officials say they investigated immediately, contacting school districts and their resource officers. And by the time kids got to class, they felt nobody at the schools were in danger.
We have determined that there's no credible threat to either or any of the schools here in the Fargo, West Fargo area. And really at this point we're following up with the investigation to see if there's any possible criminal charges associated with these comments that were made on the social media outlet.
Although the threat was deemed not credible, some parents say they're upset that the school did not let them know the investigation was taking place. Many had to find out about it on social media. We're getting new information that 2 members of the North Dakota State University women's softball team have now been charged in incidents from late November of last year. Cassidy Zaridi is charged with harassment and disorderly conduct. Alexandria Sobrero is charged with delivery of alcohol to a minor. The Cass County State's Attorney's Office did decline to file a simple assault charge against a 3rd member of the softball team. Fargo police asked that hazing charges be filed against several members of the team. Those charges were also declined.
More testing at a Grand Forks elementary school after a student was diagnosed with tuberculosis last week. The student goes to Winship Elementary School, and children who were in close contact with that student were tested today. 16 people in the Grand Forks area, 6 children, 10 adults, have been diagnosed with the lung infection so far.
North Dakota has one of the lowest taxes on cigarettes in the country, even lower than tobacco-producing states. Well, today North Dakota lawmakers heard a proposal to raise those taxes. As Van Tew explains, a representative is proposing bumping the taxes from 44 cents to $1.
A bill introduced by Democrat Elliot Glassheim to increase cigarette taxes by 56 cents a pack would bring in at least $15 million to the general fund annually. With the state fund at a surplus, others in the House are meeting it with opposition.
We certainly don't need the revenue, and to pick out this one group to raise revenue is something I certainly will not personally support.
So why increase taxes? For Glassheim, it isn't about raising money. He wants to provide financial incentives to quit smoking.
Heart disease, cancer, high expense items are covered by insurance for people who smoke. So it's not just their own individual desire to smoke that's involved, but also what it costs for the rest of us.
Medical claims related to smoking cost North Dakota $442 million per year, according to the state health department.
Well, we certainly don't want to encourage people to smoke, but I'm not sure that raising a cigarette tax from 44 cents up to, I believe it is $1, is going to change anybody's habits.
We're trying to make the incentives greater for people not to kill themselves and also not to cost the rest of us a lot of money in disease.
Smoking remains the leading preventable cause of premature death in the United States.
In fact, smoking kills more than 400,000 Americans a year. In North Dakota, nearly 900 adults die each year from a smoking-related disease.
We have a correction now to a story that involves a prostitution bust last week in Grand Forks. During this story, we showed you this ad that appeared on the Grand Forks Backpage website. Our story may have led some to believe that the ad was placed by the Grand Forks Police Department. That is, in fact, wrong. The ad and pictures are owned by a woman who is not a member of law enforcement and who describes herself only as an entertainer. We regret this error.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, a UND camera making history in space. How the AgriCam is helping farmers with their crops.
And the snow is falling heavily tonight. I'll let you know when it will finally let up, coming up right after this break.
Welcome back. The University of North Dakota's AgriCam has just wrapped up one mission aboard the International Space Station and is hoping to start another.
Images from the AgriCam aboard the space station were relayed to a UND control room. Its thermal pictures can be used to pinpoint out disease in crops and the need for different types of fertilizers. It was a project enabled by retired astronaut Mario Runco, who lectured at UND this past week.
And you can have an asset to help monitor the crops in the field as they develop and get data, images to the user, the farmer, so that if there's a problem, they can detect.
UND officials say they're now waiting to hear whether its AgriCam will begin a new mission, zooming in on natural disasters around the planet. You'll be able to see the space station fly over the valley this week through Thursday. We have information on just how to spot it on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com and look for this story on our homepage.
If that zooms in on the Rough Rider basketball program, they're going to find good things from space.
Great things. Picking up right where they left off at the end of the year. They won a state championship. They're right back at it this year, doing incredibly well. Hear from them coming up next in sports. Five UND hockey players have been charged in their alleged roles in a team party back in September when underage drinking occurred. Captains Andrew McWilliam, Danny Christo, Carter Rowney, and Corbin Knight, along with senior Joe Gleason, were all charged with unlawful delivery to certain persons. They have a pre-trial conference scheduled for March 7th. McWilliam, Christo, and Rowney and Knight are among the 7 players who have already been suspended this season for the incident. Well, with a perfect 9-0 record, the Red River boys basketball team is off to an amazing start in their bid for back-to-back state Class A titles. Valley News Live Sports' Audrey Dahlgren explains how they're getting it done.
It seems to be a general consensus that it all starts with defense for the Rough Riders boys basketball team.
Defense creates our offense. If we get some turnovers, then it gets easy layups and easy points. We definitely try to get after teams, try to get easy buckets in transition.
For head coach Jason Gregory, a strong defense not only leads to offense, but it is an essential key to success.
You know, our offense is pretty good, but without defending, we feel we're not near as, not the team we should be.
Red River, day in and day out, focuses on rebounding and hustling to win their games. And the numbers back up their defensive skills, holding opponents to 53 points a game and averaging around 14 steals a game, the highest in the EDC.
That's been a big thing to start our years. We've kind of been pretty dominant on the rebounds, and hopefully that if you rebound well, you're going to be successful most of the time.
Our goal is to keep our defense good and keep opponents under a certain amount of points.
Maintaining that defensive mentality is what the Rough Riders hope will get them back to the state championship again this year, despite the loss of Mac Arvidsson and others.
We knew we had some kids capable of filling some of the shoes of the seniors we lost. It was just a matter of how quick it was going to be, and they came in and they adjusted well, and they're adjusting to the speed of the game.
A game where playing tough D ends in victories. In Grand Forks, Audrey Dahlgren, Valley News Live Sports.
The Rough Riders host Shanley on Tuesday night, who are also undefeated in the EDC. Tip-off of that state title rematch is set for 7:30. Well, if you're ever fortunate enough to golf the Torrey Pines course in San Diego, you might want to hire this guy to be your course guide. He kind of owns it. Tiger Woods has won 6 times at Torrey Pines in the Farmers Insurance Classic, and he entered the day with a 6-shot lead, looking for number 7, along with his 75th career PGA win. Could he pick that up? On the par 5 13th hole, Jimmy Walker came into the final round in 10th place, would make a major push because of shots like this. Drains the long putt for eagle, put him at 10 under. He'd finish at 9 under, good for 4th place. But nobody was catching Tiger today. On the 11th hole, hitting out of the bunker. There aren't many golfers in the world who can hit a shot like this, folks, within a foot of the cup. Unbelievable with the break to the right. Of course, he would go on. He tapped that in for par. He was money up until the tournament slowed down a little bit. There was some galleries that slowed in front of him, but he kept his calm, tapped that in, 17 under. He finishes the tournament 14 under, 7th tournament win for him at that event.
Impressive.
Good for golf.
Most definitely.
Still to come tonight, Lisa has your Monday evening weather planner.
Well, we have snowfall still falling out there. I don't know if we can take the graphic really quick to show you just how much you can expect, but anywhere from 3 to 6 inches in Fargo, maybe even a little bit more than that. Heavier amounts to the south and east.
And we're already at 2.5?
2.5 here at the station.
And it's heavy snow, too.
Yep, and counting.
Have a good night.